This story was told to me by a friend, and it's something that actually happened in their village in Vietnam many years ago. Everyone in the neighborhood remembers it clearly because they witnessed it. In that village, there was a family everyone called Uncle Hai's house. Uncle Hai and his wife had two sons. The eldest, Khan, was already married and had two young kids. One was just 3 years old, and the other was still a baby. Khan and his wife worked at a rubber plantation, tapping latex. In Vietnam, that job usually happens at night when the sap flows best. They'd head out after midnight, riding an old motorbike into the dark roads lined with rubber trees. At that time, the family was struggling financially, dealing with debts. But nothing unusual had happened until one night. It was around 1 or 2 a.m. when Khan drove his wife out to work. For some reason, he crashed his bike straight into the back of a parked truck. It wasn't just any truck. It was one used to haul freshly cut rubber wood, and the ends of those logs? Sharp, jagged, like spears. The truck wasn't moving. There was no driver. It was just sitting by the side of the road, dark and silent. No warning lights, no one in sight. Khan didn't even have time to react. The sharp logs dislodged on impact, slamming into the couple. He died instantly. His wife was barely alive, her body torn. But because it was so late and the road was deserted, nobody saw the accident for a long time. By the time someone finally passed by and called for help, it was too late. She died on the way to the hospital. Back at home, when the family was informed, it was total devastation. People couldn't stop crying, not just because they died, but because of how they died. The couple's faces and necks were completely torn apart by those jagged logs. It was a horrifying sight. The bodies were brought home for the funeral. As is customary, neighbors came over to help. One of them was my friend. She remembered everything. Among the mourners was a young man, Kane's cousin, and he brought his girlfriend to help out too. While they were helping with the funeral arrangements, something strange happened. The girlfriend suddenly stopped what she was doing, ran up to the front of the house, and shouted, "Come here! Everyone, hurry up!" People rushed over, thinking she was having some kind of breakdown. But then she said something that chilled everyone to the bone. "I don't know what's going on." I was in the back and suddenly smelled burning incense everywhere. Strong, like someone lit a dozen sticks right next to me. I felt this pressure, like something was calling me. I didn't know what it was, but I came up here, and now I know. They're trapped. Their spirits can't come home. Something's holding them back out there, where the accident happened. Everyone was speechless. Some thought she was going crazy. Even her boyfriend asked, "Hey, are you okay?" But she turned to him, pushed his hand away, and her voice changed. "I'm not your girlfriend," she said. "I'm Kine's grandmother, his father's mother." People froze. Her voice wasn't hers anymore. It was older, shaky. And then she said, "I didn't know what happened to my grandson. I only smelled incense and followed it here. Now I know they're dead, and the spirits out there are keeping them from coming home. You need to get a monk or a spiritual master. Go to the place where they died and bring them back. If not, they'll stay trapped." The girl wobbled for a moment, then seemed to come back to herself, confused and pale. She had no memory of what she just said. The family did as instructed. They went to the local temple and asked a monk to help them. My friend didn't go with them. She stayed behind to help at the house, but she remembers what happened when the group returned. As soon as the monk and the others got back, that same girl, still helping with chores, was suddenly possessed again. Her body stiffened. Then she ran over to the two kids, the couple's orphaned children, and hugged them tightly, sobbing uncontrollably. She started speaking again, but nobody could understand what she was saying. Her words were jumbled, her crying overwhelming. The monk stepped in. "They've returned," he said softly. "One of the spirits is in her right now." "Who?" someone asked. "Is it Khan or his wife?" Then the girl lifted her head, her voice cracking. "It's me," she said. "I'm Khan?" He could barely speak. He kept gasping, whispering between sobs. He said they didn't see the truck. The road was well lit, their headlights were on, there were even street lamps. But to them, the road looked completely clear. We were just talking, and then this bright flash appeared out of nowhere. The next moment, we were crashing. I felt the wood pierce my neck, my face. I turned to look at my wife. She was already bleeding out. I tried to call her, and then I blacked out. He said that after dying, he saw his wife lying there, barely breathing. He tried to call for help, but no one could hear him. He wandered back and forth in panic, helpless. When people finally found their bodies, he tried to follow, still confused, still clinging to this world. Then the girl shuddered, and Khan's spirit left. But before anyone could catch their breath, she was possessed again. This time by his wife. This time, the voice was clearly a woman's. She confirmed everything Khan had said. "There was no truck," she cried. "We saw nothing. The road was clear. Then a flash. Then pain. Then nothing." She said when she woke up, she was standing next to Khan on the road, staring at their own bloodied bodies. "We didn't want to die. We didn't choose this." The monk gently asked the spirits to leave, saying the girl's body couldn't take much more. Before leaving, she, now the wife, held the children one last time, crying softly. Then she collapsed. This time, she didn't just wobble, she passed out completely. And she didn't wake up for 3 days. When she finally did, she had no memory of anything that happened. The funeral went on as planned. People donated money to help the family, some neighbors, some local officials, even some strangers who heard about the tragedy. The driver of the wood truck did show up. He offered 30 million dong, about $1,200, but Uncle Hai's family refused to take it. As for whether the driver was ever arrested or held responsible, no one really knows. My friend didn't follow up on that. She just remembers the voices, the crying, the way that girl changed into someone else, the kind of stuff that sticks with you long after the funeral is over. Cultural notes. Ma Nup, literally spirit possession. It's when a ghost takes control of a living person's body to communicate. Dot Nang, burning incense. In Vietnamese culture, it's a way to honor ancestors or call spirits. Ruk Vong, a spiritual ritual where a monk or medium invites lost or restless spirits to return home or be properly guided to the afterlife. The Cursed House. This story was sent in by a guy who experienced it firsthand, right inside his own family, nearly 10 years ago. Back then, his mom was a successful businesswoman. She ran a small retail business and also managed a local money-saving group, kind of like a rotating savings club. Things were going really well. One day, while chatting with a group of friends, someone casually joked, "Hey, your business is booming. Better watch out. Someone might get jealous and curse your house." At first, she laughed it off. Her family was doing just fine. There were no signs of anything strange. But the seed had been planted in her mind. She began wondering, what if someone really does try to curse us out of jealousy? One of her friends mentioned a so-called spiritual master who was famous for protecting homes, someone who could perform rituals to block evil spirits or bad intentions from entering. When she asked, "Have you ever tried this guy yourself?" the friend admitted, "No, I've only heard good things about him." Despite that, his mom decided to go see the man anyway. She visited his home and invited him over to cleanse and protect their house. The day the man came, the guy wasn't home to see what happened, but he later learned that the man walked around the property, said some chants, and then took 8 cooking chopsticks, scribbled strange symbols on them, probably Khmer or some kind of mystical script, and buried them around the corners of the house. He claimed it was for protection. At first, nothing seemed out of the ordinary, but then things started happening. One by one, members of the family started getting sick. It wasn't just a normal cold, it was weird. One person would get sick, recover after a few days, then someone else would fall ill. And it kept going in cycles. Some got high fevers, some were hospitalized. Others got into accidents, broken bones, head injuries, freak falls. They thought it was just bad luck or maybe an illness spreading around the house. But the pattern never stopped. Month after month, year after year, neighbors began whispering, "What's going on with that house? Someone's always sick or injured over there." Eventually, his grandmother began to piece things together. Something felt wrong. They started recalling when all of this began and realized it all started right after that spiritual man came to the house. His mom told the family everything she'd done. Some were furious. "Why did you invite that guy into our home?" The family fell into chaos. Over the years, desperate for relief, they started visiting temples, donating to charity, seeking help from monks. One day, some monks visited their home and quietly said, "Your house is being disturbed. by spirits. They sought other spiritual advisors, but all of them said the same thing. Only the one who tied the knot can untie it. The man who buried those objects is the only one who can remove the curse. But when they went looking for him, they found out he had died 3 to 4 years ago. From that point on, things only got worse. In just 1 year, 4 family members died, all a few months apart. Then, finally, the grandmother, the legal homeowner, passed away at the age of 81. And just like that, everything stopped. No more illness, no more accidents, no more whispers from the shadows. When the mother went to see a spiritual master again, he told her, "That man didn't protect your house. He cursed it. He summoned spirits, dark ones, and trapped them inside. They wouldn't leave until the house's rightful owner died." Her mother, the homeowner, had to die before the curse could be lifted. What is a house curse? In Southeast Asian spiritual beliefs, especially in places like Vietnam, Cambodia, and Thailand, there's something called buon ngai, a form of mystical black magic involving charms, herbs, or enchanted objects. When used with bad intent, this practice can yim nya, a ritual where a sorcerer secretly buries cursed objects around a house to summon spirits, cause bad luck, illness, or even death. It's not just about superstition. In these cultures, many believe that once a curse is placed, it won't lift until the original spellcaster removes it, or until the curse has taken its toll. And in this case, it cost them everything. Bạn có muốn mình chuyển thể thêm câu chuyện nào nữa không? Hoặc nếu cần phần giọng kể